Hello there. Happy Career Saturday. I'm Yvonne Akimoden, HR consultant and career coach. I work with people over the age of 40 seeking a career change. I don't know about where you are, but I'm in London in the UK and it's absolutely freezing. But we're not going to let that stop us. We're going to keep going, and I have got a really interesting topic to talk to you today about in my Facebook Live. And the topic is really about how you prepare a career plan, especially if you are over 40. So many of you might be thinking, what is a career plan? Or do I actually need one? A lot of the time, most of us, when we were at school, when we were much younger, we're often told if you're leaving secondary school, A-levels, university, college, and so on, that's the time you make a career plan. What and where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? That's all well and good. But for most people, once you get into a job, you tend to find that the job shapes where you go next. And for many of us, we don't create plans beyond that. However, a career plan is a must for anyone who wants to take charge and control of their future. It's not just about having a career plan for your journey into a particular field and for working there for the next 3-4 years. It's about where you want to go next. And this is especially important if you are thinking about a career change. So you're mid to late career and you're now thinking, actually, I want to do something different. I don't know what that is, or I have an idea of what it is, but I don't know how to get there. Well, having a career plan will help you get there. It is really a tool and a way of setting a step-by-step guide as to what you're going to do in order to move from where you are now to where you want to get to. And it's, to a degree, it's about putting some structure behind it. It's about setting very clear goals on what the things are that you need to do, the exact steps that you need to take to get from where you are to where you want to be. And more importantly, it's not just the what, it's the how, and it's also the when. When do you want to achieve these things? Because unless you put a time frame behind them, you might say, well, in 5 years' time, I want to be running my own business. But what are you going to do to get there? How are you going to get there? And more importantly, how are you going to make sure that you're on track to achieve that 5-year target that you set? So that's why it's important to have a career plan at any point in your career, and regardless of age, it's really important to have a career plan. Now, for people who are over 40, one of the things that might be something that you might be asking is, I'm already in my late career. How far into the future do I need to be looking? Well, only you can answer that, really. I would recommend, if you are looking at a career plan and you're over, even if you are over 40, you should still be looking at least 5 years ahead. Maybe your plan is to retire in 5 years. Maybe that's the long-term goal. And if that is the plan, even with that, you need to understand what it is that you're going to be doing for those 5 years in the run-up to your retirement. What are your income goals? Not just for those 5 years, but beyond, because when you retire, you presumably want to have a certain income that you have. Maybe when you retire, you want to do something different on a part-time basis. So what are the plans? What are the things that you're thinking of? And how are you going to make sure that that happens? So I would recommend that a 5-year career plan is the ideal. For people who are maybe nearer retirement, you may want to look at a 3-year plan or 2-year plan, depending on how far away you are. But as a general rule, 5 years is a very realistic time frame. And you might think 5 years sounds like an enormous amount of time, but believe me, it will be here before you know it. So having a plan that extends beyond just year 1 or 2 is a really important way to make sure that you have goals and you have targets and you have an agenda and a platform that you want to work to over the coming years. So we talked about what a career plan is, and we've also talked about how far into the future you might want to plan for your future career. And the next thing I want to talk about is options. What might be the route? And I'm talking very broadly here. What might be the route that you want to go down in order to move into the various career options? For most of us, there will be 3 broad routes that we want to go down. One of 3. Might do all 3, who knows? But we certainly want to look at one of the 3. So the first one is a career change. And by that, what I mean is a career change from one 9-to-5 career into another. So perhaps in the last 10, 20 years of your working life, you have been in IT, and the time has come when you decide, actually, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to become an accountant. So that is a completely different shift from where you are now to where you want to get to. And you're not going to wake up the following day and just say, well, I've made this decision and walk into a job. You need to plan for it. So part of your career plan might be, in that case, that my career path is that I want to change careers from what I'm doing now. But I do know that what I'm looking for is another 9-to-5. I don't have any plans to do anything outside of a 9-to-5. It provides a certain level of comfort. It provides a certain level of security. It means that I know exactly how much income I'm likely to have. It means that I can plan and I have got a really clear picture of what I'm planning on doing. So that may be the route that you want to go down. For some people, the career path might be that what you want to do is you want to make a transition from being employed to being a business owner. And that is a completely different career path. But how are you going to get there? So again, your career plan has to be looking at what it is that you're going to do that's going to take you from where you are now to where you want to get to. I will be looking at, over the coming weeks, at delving down into each of these various options, but for the purposes of today, I'm just going to skim the surface of them. And really it's about understanding that a second career path might be going from employed to being a business owner. A third option for some of us might be that what we decide we want to do is become a part retired. So that option might be that what we're looking to do is not go down a career path of a 9-to-5, not be self-employed, but we might want to do something that keeps us in employment. And those options will vary. A very common one that most people look at is becoming a board member. So joining the board of your local hospital, your local school. It could be that you join one of the FT 500s, join one of their boards, any of those options where you're tapping into your expertise and you're still inputting into the world of work, but you're not doing it on a full-time basis. So that might be an option that people may want to look at. So the 3 options or the 3 paths that you might want to go down, if you're looking at a career plan, is either a change in job and career, so looking at something completely different, but something that is still a 9-to-5. The second option might be to be self-employed, moving away from a 9-to-5 into something where you are in complete control and you are the owner of a business, whatever that might be. And the third option is where you are semi-transitioning from being a full-time employee or in a full-time role to being part-time. So those are the three options that might be ones that you want to explore. Now, what I want to look at next week is how we delve into each of those. So we will start with making the transition from being employed into a different career option. We will then also look at how would you go from being employed to being a business owner. And when we look at that option, what we'll be looking at is, are you going to make that transition in one hit? Are you going to transition gradually? Or are you going to do two things alongside each other? And we'll look at that. And in the third week, what we will look at is people who are looking at additional income through board membership. So really where you're lending your particular skills, expertise and knowledge to a board of any kind, shape or form. So I hope you found today's Facebook Live useful. I hope you found the tips helpful. I hope you will watch this video back. Please do share. I always like people to share the videos because you might be able to help someone else who might be interested. So please do share the video with others. And if you're not in our Facebook group, I've put the link as always on the video. So please do join our Facebook group, Career Changers Over 40. We'd love to see you in there. And do not forget, do ask questions and I would love to help you. So I hope you found today's video useful and I look forward to seeing you next week. Happy Career Saturday.